not getting cast in enough. So,
so you said we're going to fix
we're
that.
Like, we're going to write our own shit. So yeah, we kept getting cast as young dad, and we're like, oh, man. So we just started writing our own stuff and doing short films and messing around with the camera and learning how to use a camera because we didn't go to film school. So we kind of learned as we went and made some shorts, and this is our first feature. This is the first time we sat down and we're like, we're going to do this with all of our money.
Well, you know what? I see, you know, if you guys continue on this path, if this is your first feature, you know, you got a home at the Orlando Film Festival because 5 years from now, you know, I want you premiering your, you know, your multi-million-dollar film with us because I think you guys did a
So do we.
Yes. Wait, but you heard it here. I'm blogging tonight.
He's got it on camera. He's got it right
nice.
there.
We got it covered. So I want to open it up, but I want to start just one last question. So great ensemble cast. Tim Kazurinsky.
Yeah.
Come on, Tim is badass,
Uncle
man.
Tim.
Talk about, just give me a little bit about Uncle Tim. I love Robin Englund as well. I mean, those of you know Freddy Krueger, obviously. He's a fantastic guy. You know, he's made a lot of independent films, and he's actually up for Best Supporting Actor for the festival. And just tell me a little about Tim.
Tim's great. Our whole thing was we're Chicago actors. We wanted to make a Chicago movie. And we always have this thing of the Chicago flight. Everybody leaves. They make one movie and they run to LA as quickly as they can.
Yeah.
Tim Kazurinsky didn't. You know, it's like he's the guy that never left Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, did all his Police Academy movies, Saturday Night Live. He was one of the very first guys at Second City, which, you know, we went to Second City and did shows there. So when we put our dream cast together, you know, Tim was on that cast. He's like old school Chicago. He supports independent filmmakers. I mean, as big as the guy is, he still does like college films. Like college students have short films, and Tim will go audition for it and do a short film. It's like he's just he's really good people. I love him. Yeah.
And he's super, super funny. And I love your city, by the way. Chicago is one of the most beautiful cities that I've ever been to. Let's open up the Q&A. Who has a question for John about Mole Man? I thought this was a microphone. I'm like, hey, wait, hold on.
What did you shoot on?
What did we shoot on? There was the Sony 900.
Yep.
Sony 900. It's a tank. It's so big. But yeah, it's we made friends with the studio in Chicago, Resolution Digital, and brought them our script, and they liked the whole dog going through the mail slot thing, so they said they'd give us a bunch of gear and help us with giving us an editing bay and a sound bay, and because of that dog tag, I was like, I love you guys. So yeah, we shot with their Sony.
That's hold that handle and cherry.
We got lucky. We got real lucky.
900 is a great camera.
Yeah.
We did Contract Killers on it. It is. It's a beast.
Beautiful images on it.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's HD, you know, tape stock at its best. You know,
Lucas used it.
Yeah, they used it for Star Wars.
Star Wars trilogy.
That's right.
Yeah.
What we got? Yeah, young man.
What made you guys come up with that idea? Because it's kind of
The idea, honestly, the idea was almost like out of desperation. It's like we made all these short films, and I had a flight. I just got done with a gig, and I was flying to St. Louis from Chicago. If you know the flight, it goes up, it goes down. It's very fast. And I just, while I was waiting for my flight, I'm like, we're doing a feature film, and we're doing it this year. I just had that moment where it's like, if we don't make it now, we're never going to make it.
Right.
And so I just sat on a plane with a few drinks and wrote an outline before I was done. And I wanted to make a comedy horror, but I didn't want to use like zombies
cliches,
or vampires. So I'm like, I want a monster as ridiculous as we are. So I came up with the Mole Man, and my buddy Mike Bradish, I brought him to the bar. I'm like, I got this idea, and it's written on a Southwest Airlines napkin. And I'm like, so it's this and it's that. And he just looks up and he goes, that doesn't sound funny at all. I'm like, I swear to God, it's funny. So I went to the bar, bought another round, came back, kissed him again. He still was like, it's not a comedy, man. I'm like, one more round. Went back, run around. And then he thought it was funny. And by the way, it's nice to see kids in the audience, but you should know, no human being should ever say the F word as much as we did in that movie. So I apologize for that.
Yeah, these guys have actually seen a lot of films. I mean, is your mom in here? She's watching something else, I think, right now. But
this guy with the hat had one of the greatest questions I've ever heard at the film festival earlier today.
Yeah, I was going to say in like 3 Q&As. I mean, he's been very poignant. They're ahead of their years.
Just
Okay,
get a follow-up.
one more quick one. We'll go to somebody else.
I want to add on that I did a feature, and I think that they said the F word like way more times.
They're only words. They're only words, unless they're hurting somebody.
I noticed you apologize for the F word, but not for the girl running around topless.
No, not at all. Young boys.
Yeah. I mean, what?
We did one of those things as we were writing the movie, like we're making jokes out of horror movies as we were writing it. Yeah. And there's that article that you got to show boobs in the first 10 minutes of a horror movie for anyone to buy it. Yeah. And we're like, we're going to do it, but we're going to make a joke out of doing it. Like, we're not going to do it with sex or anything like that. So that was our little, punch to the joke.
your way to get back in distribution.
Who did you borrow all the cute little animals from, and what did you tell them you were going to do with them?
Yeah, anyone that would give us a dog or a cat. We're so low budget. It's not like we had like trained animals. It was really
find
like
friends.
We called anybody we knew. We're like, you got a dog? Bring it by.
Oh, by the way.
And then we shot at the Chicago Humane Society, which I have no idea why they said yes. And so we're in there. I'm like, so you like the script, huh? And she's like, well, I didn't get a chance to read it. What's it about? I'm like, so these two brothers were giving pets away.
She's like, sure, shoot.
Yeah, they're like, come on in. I'm like, thanks so much. Hopefully she doesn't read it while we're here.
or listen while we're shooting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're so cute. How can we kill them?
But that was one of probably the hardest parts about the whole film is all the animals, because we went from just me and my buddy making a movie with our friends to all of a sudden all these talented people jumped on, and because of that it went union, and because it went union you had to have the American Humane Society on set.
Right.
And so this guy's on set watching us.
Oh, so you were full union.
Oh, yeah, and he's writing these little notes, and it's making me nervous every time. I'm like, what are you writing? What? Is it okay? Am I doing it right? And he's like, just carry on.
Milk? Did you see the milk I brought for the cat?
The worst, though, is we're behind set, we're behind schedule, we're running like crazy. We're bringing the cat on set, and he goes, cat looks nervous. I'm like, what does that even mean? It's a cat. And he's like, looks nervous. Can't bring it on set. Put it back. I'm like, what? And so now we're on the phone. We're like, we need a cat that's mildly sedated. And it was frustrating. Our production coordinator, Teresa Walker, she had no idea she was getting into that storm of animal control the whole time.
Yeah, and when you just real quick, so. Did you start out your pre-production process knowing that you were going full union? No. So, for you guys that aren't familiar, when you're shooting in Chicago or New York or LA, you're in a union state. So the minute that you bring Screen Actors Guild actors onto a film, you've got yourself a union shoot on your hands. And now you're dealing with Teamsters, you're dealing with IATSE, you're dealing with the Directors Guild. Are you guys now DGA?
I got to say, though, in Chicago, it's an incredibly friendly town to shoot in when it comes to union.
Yeah.
As much as all the union stories you hear about Chicago, SAG was incredible with getting us the actors, getting us, unbelievable how cheap it was to get these actors.
Were you under the
We did the SAG ultra low minimum, and we didn't have to run into any of the other union problems, though. We didn't have to bring anybody else in that was union.
Wait till you start making
just
money.
The actors.
Wait till you start making money.
That's when you have to pay them back.
When they know you got cash, then they all show up.
Well, it's on
we didn't have any cash.
It's on your distribution agreement. So once you've signed your distribution agreement, you'll end up having to pay that full day rate back to the Screen Actors Guild for what they should have made under the standard.
Yeah, bounces them back up.
But you know what? I mean, the beauty of the Screen Actors Guild is you're going to be, you're going to have guys like Robert Englund. You're going to have guys like Tim Kazurinsky. And so you guys are both
highly
SAG
recommend it. And we were beforehand.
We were beforehand.
But it's it always sounds so common. If there's filmmakers in here that haven't done a feature yet and you're worried about going SAG, go SAG if you can.
Yeah.
It really is amazing. We wrote the script for me, Mike. I pitched it to him in December. We started writing it in a bar every Tuesday in January. We started shooting.
Imagine.
We started shooting June 26th.
Yeah.
So it was it was 6 months of writing the script, and by the time we got to actually shooting, we still thought it was going to be us and our friends. Yeah. And that's when a casting agency read it and they loved it and they said, pick your dream team. And we picked our favorite 20 Chicago actors that we went and saw in shows on a regular basis. And we're like, can you get them? And that's kind of how it happened.
Four words that you want to hear in your filmmaking career. Pick your dream team.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And they were, for us, they're not all famous. They're just people that we love. people we respect.
That's awesome. And ensemble cast, they're up for best ensemble cast here at the Orlando Film Festival. Go ahead, Young.